Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Bobby Valentine Sports Show. I am your host, Frank Rampin. Halfway through the MLB season at the All-Star break, well, a little bit more than halfway, it's actually this year was the most amount of games ever played before the All-Star break in MLB history. So, All-Star break just wrapped up, Home Run Derby on Monday, All-Star game last night on Tuesday, and the entire first half to talk about. So let's dive into this one. Start off with the weekly recap and the stat of the week. So the MLB just had a surge of home runs on the final Sunday before the All-Star break. 51 home runs on Sunday, the most in any day this season. 9 batters had multiple home runs. That's tied for the second most on any single day of all time. And 2 players had 3 home run games. First time that happened since 2020. Pretty unbelievable stuff. Lawrence Butler for the Oakland A's, hit one against the Philadelphia Phillies, 3 home run game for him. And Michael Toglia, the switch hitter from the Rockies. I was actually at that game against New York, or the Mets in New York at Citi Field. Pretty cool stuff. But whole new setup we got going on here. Got a new computer because we were getting crashed on. We got a new mic, in case you have noticed. No hands. Hey, no hands. And a couple additions to the lineup here. Last Friday night, Rockies, Mets, Brandon Nimmo City Connect bobblehead day, and this bobblehead is one of the most detailed I have on this collection. Pretty unbelievable, and the jerseys look great on that. And we got Raleigh Fingers signed on the wall here. We got to add him to the lineup. They just gave this out a couple weeks ago at the Coliseum. Had to make a purchase. If you can't notice, this is a mustache platform we got going on for Raleigh. Of course, he's got the iconic look, the handlebar mustache. Put Raleigh up there right next to Maddie and Maddie. So looking good, adding up to the collection. As we move into the weekly recap of the All-Star break. So, the Home Run Derby took place first. That was Monday night. 8 competitors. And we'll go to the final round here between Teoscar Hernandez and Bobby Witt Jr. So, Teoscar's swinging here. He went first in this final round. He's at 4 home runs here with 57 seconds left. Gets into one, 98. I like how they have the launch angle and the exit velocity, because this one, 105, absolutely demolished, high and deep to left. 101, like just absolutely smoked. So watching this is pretty unbelievable. This streak here from Teoscar, 107, crushed into the second deck. 106, crushed just into the second deck. 105, laser beam. This one just missing the second deck. 3 swings in a row. 107, 106, 105. Teoscar on a roll here in the final round. So Teoscar puts up a pretty good number of 14. So Bobby Witt's going to have to match that. 9 home runs with 15 seconds left. Rips one. Gets a little bit hot here. Another one crushed. He's got a chance to get closer, moving him to 11 here. Last pitch, hat goes flying, lands on the plate, looking like Bobby Witt in the high school home run derby. That one ripped. So that one gets him up to 11, I believe, or was it 12? I think it was 11. So 11 home runs for Bobby Witt going into the bonus round. 3 outs. Doesn't matter how many pitches you take. You can swing it whatever you want. But Bobby Witt, 3 home runs away from tying Teoscar Hernandez of the Los Angeles Dodgers, sending it into a swing-off. So Bobby Witt gets 2 quick outs here, down to his final swing after he lines 2 to left that don't get out. So only one more opportunity for Bobby Witt, the young phenom sensation for the Kansas City Royals. Needs to make things happen. What does he do? 108 off the bat, deep to left center field, into the second deck. That's going to be 425 feet or more, giving him an extra out. So down to his last swing, he absolutely demolishes a baseball to give him 2 more outs now with the bonus time. 2 home runs away from Teoscar. Here we go. Crowds get into it. Bobby Witt, meanwhile, grew up just outside of this Arlington area, so a lot of people rooting for him. Gets into another one, this one to the second deck. Now he trails by just 1. Teoscar Hernandez getting a little bit nervous over there. Bobby Witt's family going crazy. Let's go. This is what the All-Star Game's all about, but this one ripped foul. So now down to his final out, 13 home runs, one behind Teoscar Hernandez, one swing to tie this thing up for Bobby Witt Jr. The hometown faithful on it. Teoscar's feeling it. He's going to take a pitch, right? No! High and deep to left center field. Is he going to get out of here? Bobby Witt doesn't know. He's trying to will its way out. Off the fence. Just short, about 5 feet short for Bobby Witt. And Teoscar Hernandez wins the home run derby. The first Dodger ever to win the home run derby in his 14th all-time appearance by a Dodger. And he became the oldest home run derby winner in their debut. He's 31 years old, since David Ortiz did it back in 2010 when he was 34. So pretty impressive stuff from Teoscar Hernandez. Pretty crazy that it's just the first Dodger ever to win the home run derby. I would have thought that had happened already, but 14th Dodger to compete, first one to win it. And he just became the third oldest player to win the home run derby in his debut. Dave Parker did it in 1986 as a 34-year-old. Luis Gonzalez and Andre Dawson both did it in 2001 and 1987, respectively, as 33-year-olds. So Teoscar, as a 31-year-old, the third youngest player to win the home run derby in their debut. So from the home run derby, Teoscar Hernandez wins that, to the All-Star game. A lot of hype around this one as well. The starting lineups, let's go with this one. The National League, Ketel Marte started at second from the Arizona Diamondbacks. Batting second and DHing from the Los Angeles Dodgers, Shohei Ohtani, the absolute specimen. Batting third, playing short from the Philadelphia Phillies, Trey Turner, followed by his teammate and first baseman, Bryce Harper. Then William Contreras and Christian Yelich, two Brewers, at 5 and 6. Alec Boehm, the third baseman, bats 7th. Teoscar Hernandez, the Derby champ, in center field, batting 8th. And Jurickson Profar bats 9th and left. And they are being started by the rookie sensation, 22-year-old, younger than me, Paul Skeens, started the All-Star game for the National League last night, and it was unbelievable. Now moving on to the AL starting lineup, Stephen Kwan in left field, the AL or MLB's batting leader at the moment. Gunnar Henderson at short, at second in the order. Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, 3 and 4. Yordan Alvarez, Jose Ramirez, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Adley Rutschman, and Marcus Semien. And the starting pitcher for the AL was Corbin Burns. So, before we head into the All-Star game, we got a little bit of highlights from that for you. But let's go to the play of the week, right before the All-Star break. This is going to bring us to Philadelphia, Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. This was a series between the Dodgers and the Phillies. The Phillies actually swept the Dodgers in this series. Dodgers have been a little bit of a struggle lately. A lot of pitching injuries, a lot of young guys starting for the Dodgers, so been a little bit of a struggle for them lately. But Phillies versus Dodgers, Matt Strahm on the bump. Runner on first in the top of the 7th with 1 away. Kike Hernandez lines one deep out to left center field. Johan Rojas absolutely tracks it down and makes a great leaping catch. What a jump that was from Johan Rojas. What a route that was from Johan Rojas. And he just stabs the glove out there. A little half leap, stab the glove, backhanded play right before the wall. Great play from him. And Johan Rojas covered 100 feet exactly to make this catch. So a lot of range shown off by the center fielder of the Phillies. Great job from him, as the Phillies really have been unbelievable. Best team in the league by far. So play of the week, that was just before the first half ended. Had to get a little bit of those in. So we have actually 2 highlights of this week. So I'll be honest with you. I like to be honest with my viewers, have to be. Mentioned the new computer yesterday and the day before. So today is Wednesday, July 17th. Monday, the 15th, and yesterday, the 16th, I tried to film this video both days. And my computer died during it, or it crashed, just stopped working. So had to figure it out. Got a new computer, got the new mic, got the new mouse. We're all locked in now. But it took me a couple extra days to do it, so I might as well include the Home Run Derby and the All-Star game. So we're gonna have a play of the week for you, which is the Yankees-Orioles last game of the first half of the regular season on Sunday, and then we'll do an All-Star game breakdown. So, Yankees-Orioles, final day of the first half of the regular season between these two division rivals at Camden Yards. Going into this series, the Yankees were down by 2 games, so 2 full games behind the Orioles, with 3 games left to play against them. They won the first 2, one on Friday and on Saturday. Friday had a lot of controversy surrounding it. Friday night, the Yankees were winning 4-1 in the 9th inning. closer, all-star closer Clay Holmes came in to get the save. And the first batter he faced, I believe, there was 2 strikes though, 4-1 game. So a save situation with two strikes in the bottom of the ninth inning for the Orioles. Clay Holmes, who's usually one of the most accurate pitchers in baseball, drills Heston Kjerstad right in the bottom of the ear flap. Very scary situation. Almost got him in the head. Kjerstad was down. Brandon Hyde wasn't happy, the Orioles manager. He came out. The trainers came out to check on Kjerstad. So Kjerstad got the whole concussion treatment. He was all right, but he did end up coming out of the game. Brandon Hyde was incensed. While Heston Kjerstad was getting walked back to the dugout by the trainer, Brandon Hyde picked up Kjerstad's helmet, launched it at the Orioles dugout, was pointing, screaming at the Yankees dugout. The Yankees catcher, Austin Wells, had to hold him back, make sure he wasn't going to get to his players. Both benches cleared. Huge scrum happened. Very, very tightly packed group of bodies sitting right next to the left of home plate. Aaron Boone and Brandon Hyde were going at each other. The pitching coach for the Orioles was going crazy. Garrett Cole was getting in his face. So a whole thing. This is spoiled over from the last series that was in the Bronx when Aaron Judge and Gunnar Henderson both got hit with pitches. So this has been boiling over from the beginning of the season, and it just finally hit its tipping point. So the Orioles and the Yankees is going to be a wild division race to watch out for the rest of the season, and these teams do not like each other. So Yankees take the first 2, tie the lead for the division up with 1 game left in the series. So whoever wins the last game of the regular season between the Orioles and the Yankees has a 1-game lead in the American League East. So just keep that in mind here with the stakes at this game and the bad blood between these 2 teams. So top of the second, 2 outs, Trent Grisham with Anthony Volpe on second, rolls one back up the middle to open up the scoring. Yankees lead 1-0. Trent Grisham, after having one of the worst outfield gaffes I've ever seen in my life, has been one of the best Yankee productive players, as Judge kind of hit a little bit of a struggle before the break. So Trent Grisham makes it 1-0 Yankees here in the second inning as we move ahead. So bottom of the second inning now. Runners on second and third for the O's. 2 outs. Colton Cowser at the dish. Rodon's pitch is going to be tapped softly up the middle. Volpe ranges to his left and sprawls to make an inning-ending catch. So keeps the Orioles off the board, keeps the Yankees lead at 1-0. Nice play from Volpe. So now moving to the bottom of the third inning. Runner on first, nobody out for Gunnar Henderson. His second time facing Rodon. And Rodon's going to hang him a slider here, and he's going to deposit that one over the right center field wall. Go-ahead home run for the Birds. 2-1, O's on top. Gunnar Henderson, been unbelievable. Only behind Aaron Judge in the American League home run total. I believe he finished with 28 in the first half. Third in all of baseball behind Judge and Ohtani. And there's the list for you right there. Judge, Ohtani, Henderson, and then Marcell Ozuna. So now Trent Grisham back up again. His next AB in the 5th. Same score, 2-1, O's on top. Grisham gets into one to right. That one's over the high wall, almost over to Utah Street. Bounces up into it. 2-2, Yankees tied up. Both RBIs off the bat of Trent Grisham. So Grisham still continues to be hot for this Yankees team, contributing to both of their runs scored in this one. So now bottom of the 5th inning, still tied at 2. Anthony Santander at the plate. Tommy Kahnle hangs a changeup, and Santander does not miss it. This one does get to Utah Street, gets onto there on the fly. That changeup stayed way too high, and Santander absolutely crushed it. 3-2 Orioles here in the 5th. So now moving into the late innings here. Clutch situation here for the Yankees on defense after Santander hits a triple. So Santander's last 2 at-bats, homer, triple. He gets pinch ran for Cedric Mullins at third. 1 out, Mullins at third. Jordan Westburg, the All-Star, grounds one to Oswaldo Cabrera at third. Good scoop by him. Comes to the plate to nail down Mullins. So keeps the game 3-2. Nice play from Oswaldo Cabrera. Doesn't let the O's tack on to their lead. So now we move into the top of the 9th inning. Same score, 3-2 Baltimore on top. After recording 1 out, 2 walks in the inning, Craig Kimbrell's going to face the rookie Ben Rice. So Rice, after getting down to the count 0-1, takes a fastball from Kimbrell and smokes it to right center field. High and deep, cows are back. He's going to watch that fly. Go-ahead home run in the top of the 9th inning for Ben Rice, who's been unbelievable for this Yankees team. Became the first Yankee rookie ever to have a 3-homer game, and it's a huge clutch home run to give him the lead against the Orioles. So Yankees in prime position to sweep this series and go up in the AL East over the Orioles right before the break. So we'll go to the bottom of the ninth now, and Clay Holmes, the all-star for the Yankees, comes in, gives up a leadoff single, gets a fielder's choice, then walks 2, and then gets outnumbered 2. So an interesting inning for Holmes. That's going to bring up Ryan Mountcastle with the bases loaded, 2 outs. So Mountcastle, been very good for this Orioles team. Holmes needs to lock down this win. So like I said, bases loaded, 2 outs, 0-2 count on Mountcastle, 5-3 ball game, ground ball to Volpe at short. He boots it, recovers, flips a second, but not in time. Error by Volpe keeps the game alive, 5-4 as the Orioles get a run as well. Huge mistake by Anthony Volpe. Now, here comes Cedric Mullins. Winning run on second, tying run on third. Still 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth. 0-1 count. Lifted to left field, Verdugo starts in, has to go back, and he falls down. Alex Verdugo, been one of the best fielding outfielders in all of baseball the first half of the season, gets a horrible jump on a ball that had a 99% catch probability. 99%. Alex Verdugo had a great chance to make that play, got an awful jump, unable to recover, and then he eats the dirt. Falls down, Orioles score 2, walk it off, and they lead the AL East by 1 game. Wow. What a game that was, as the Yankees really should have came back to win that one. 2 chances to end that game in the bottom of the ninth. Routine ground ball to a Gold Glove shortstop, Anthony Volpe, and Alex Verdugo. Routine fly ball to one of the best outfielders in all of baseball. Unable to come up with either of them. Yankees lose 6-5. And it was the 4th loss this season for the Yankees when leading by multiple runs in the 9th inning or later. That leads all of baseball. So the Yankees, man, it's been a tale of 2 halves of the first half, I guess. They started off unbelievable. They were the best team in the league for 2 months, and then everything came crashing down. They can't buy a win right now. They're behind the Orioles by 1. Still have a good chance in the division, but wow. Crazy things are going on right now. So that game was nuts. The Yankees really botched that one. Orioles take the win. So that was the last game going into the All-Star break. I showed you the Home Run Derby highlights. So now, let's go into the All-Star game highlights. And like I mentioned last week, I plead for it along with everyone else who's a baseball fan. Paul Skeens needs to start the All-Star game. He deserves it, and he did. So everyone was waiting for it. Paul Skeens takes the mound in the bottom of the first inning, becoming the 5th rookie pitcher ever to start the All-Star game, the first since Hideo Nomo back in 1995. And let me get the list for you. So one of 5 rookie pitchers to ever start the All-Star game. The first was Dave Stenhouse back in 1962. Mark Fidrich, the Bird, did it in 1976. Fernando Valenzuela did it in 1981 en route to his Rookie of the Year and Cy Young campaign. Hideo Nomo, I just mentioned, did it in 95. And Paul Skeens becomes the 5th. Unbelievable. Paul Skeens is just so good. So good. So he comes out to start the All-Star game. And, of course, he's just as cool as ever. They have to show Libby Dunn a few times in the crowd because why would you not? So the AL lineup, mentioned it already, Stephen Kwan, Gunnar Henderson, Soto, then Judge. So Kwan, the first batter, leads the league in hitting this year. Quickly gets down against Skeens 0-2. 100-mile-an-hour fastball popped up right behind second base. Turner's going to take care of that with ease. So first batter of the game retired by Skeens, and he's looking good. So now the MVP candidate, shortstop Gunnar Henderson, taps one, splinker that had an unbelievable amount of movement at 93, right back to the mound, and Skeens fires to first for out number 2. So now I was getting a little nervous. Soto's up. I'm like, okay, I need Skeens to face Judge. I need it. I said it in my video last week. I thought it was going to be Henderson, Soto, Judge as the lineup. I didn't think Kwan was going to lead off, which I'm cool with, but we need to see Skeens versus Judge. So, I was rooting for him to strike out the side with a pass ball and then strike out 4 in the same inning. Obviously, that didn't happen, but it almost did with Soto. So Soto works a long at bat. First pitch soared on the splinker. He does work a walk. So we do get the matchup we've all been waiting for, Skeens versus Judge. By the way, this 100-mile-an-hour fastball from Skeens that was ball 4 to Soto was very close to being a strike. I don't even know if Contreras saw it. So here comes the matchup everyone's been waiting for, Judge versus Skeens. 100-mile-an-hour right down the middle. Judge takes a hack, but rolls over to Bohm at third. So just a one-pitch at-bat that was. And Skeens works a scoreless bottom of the first inning in the All-Star game. No, nothing except for the one walk to Soto. Didn't get any strikeouts as well, but he is unbelievable. So now we're going to move ahead here to the bottom of the second inning. And in the bottom of the second inning, the Fox broadcast had Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, and Alec Boehm, 3 infielders, all from the Phillies, all mic'd up at the same time. It was pretty cool to listen to, and it was even cooler when this happened. So Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, and Alec Boehm all in the same infield together. So now there's one away, runner on first, Yordan Alvarez walked, and the announcers actually just asked Trey Turner here what he thinks about Ketel Marte, the only non-infielder that's on his team. So right after that, ground ball up the middle, Turner makes a diving stop, flips it to second, Ketel Marte puts it out for out number 2. What a play from Trey Turner. Bryce Harper was going nuts, doing the dip motion, freaking out. That was a crazy play. Maybe the greatest play that anyone's ever made mic'd up, and in the All-Star game. So that was pretty fun to watch. Bryce Harper was going crazy over the mic. He was screaming into that thing. It was wild. Great thing to see there. So now we move to the top of the third inning. Still nothing, but first scoring opportunity for either team, really. Or I guess the top of the first was, but here's the first real scoring opportunity for the National League. Shohei Ohtani up to the plate, no outs, runners on first and second. And they were just asking Judge how incredible this guy is. And he was like, oh man, watching him hit homers and do what he does, especially with the Tommy John, is insane. And rudely interrupted by an Ohtani smash. 400 feet on the dot to right center field, puts the National League on top 3-0. Shohei Ohtani just continues to light up the big moments. He's the best player in the world. First Dodger with a home run in the All-Star game since 1996. That was Mike Piazza, and Piazza won MVP of that game. So pretty interesting. And he's also the second Japanese-born player to home run in the All-Star game. Pretty sure you can guess the other one. Ichiro did it for the first time back in 2007, and it was an inside-the-park home run at Oracle in San Francisco. So just the second home run ever by a Japanese player in the All-Star game, and the first one that actually cleared a fence. And Ohtani became the first player in All-Star game history to get a pitching win, that was in 2021 in Colorado, and hit a home run in the All-Star game. Babe Ruth never pitched in an All-Star game, so he really would have been the only person to do that. So Ohtani makes history again. So now we move into the bottom of the third inning. AL gets themselves a little rally of their own after a nice play from Bryce Harper to record out number 1. Runners on second and third, just one out. Juan Soto rips one right back up the middle. That's going to plate 2 American League runs, and they cut the deficit. 3-2 now, the National League on top, but that was very quick. Right after the Ohtani home run, Soto cuts into the lead. So after a Aaron Judge ground out, the next batter, David Fry from the Cleveland Guardians, steps up to the plate. 3-2 count. Pulls one through the left side. Soto's coming around third. Here comes the throw from left and Profar. Soto kind of pulled up early and made that play a little closer than it should have been. Didn't slide. Ties the game up at 3. So David Fry with an all-star game RBI in his first at-bat comes in and ties the game up. So now 3-3. Score remains 3-3 as we go to the 5th inning. And here comes Miller time. The Reaper comes out of the bullpen for the American League, the only A in the All-Star game, and the last ever Oakland A All-Star in the history of baseball. So Mason Miller coming in, tie ball game, comes in to face the top of the National League lineup. Gets Ketel Marte to pop up first pitch, fly out to left field, and here comes the matchup between Mason Miller and Shohei Ohtani. Power versus power. Ohtani swing and miss at the 89-mile-an-hour slider. Great pitch from Mason Miller. He really diced up Ohtani in this one. 101 on the black, 102 on the black, and then that beautiful back foot slider. So this is the next at-bat. He's facing Trey Turner. First pitch to Trey Turner. Spiked fastball, but it comes up as 104. 103.6 mile-an-hour fastball. The hardest pitch in the history of the All-Star game, thrown by Mason Miller. As they show his numbers, MLB reliever ranks this season, strikeouts first, strikeout percentage first, 100-mile-an-hour pitches first, and just thrown the hardest pitch in the history of the All-Star game. So it works a 3-2 count with Trey Turner. Here's the count as 2-1, as Mason absolutely lights him up with 102. Trey Turner can't catch up with that one. But Turner works the count all the way to 3-2 against Mason Miller. And what do you think he's going to get here? After he fouls off the fastball, you're getting that wipeout slider. Can't do anything with it. Trey Turner throws the bat in disgust. The Reaper wins this one. It's Miller time in Arlington. So, Mason Miller, Unbelievable stuff from him coming in and dicing the top of the National League lineup. It was unbelievable to watch that. The final All-Star in Oakland A's history came in to face the top of the NL order and through the hardest pitch in the history of the All-Star game. So Mason Miller ready to represent the boys out there. And, I mean, that was awesome to watch. So now we go to the bottom of the fifth inning. AL gets a little bit of a rally here. 2-out single by Anthony Santander. That's going to bring up Jarren Duran for his first All-Star game plate appearance. Still 3-3 the ball game. He's facing Riley Green. Hanging slider. Duran does not miss that one. Ripped to right center field, and Jarren Duran said that this was the first home run in his life that he ever pimped. And he really pimped it. He knew that was gone. Gave it a little stare down, bat flip, and he homers in his first All-Star game plate appearance. Jarren Duran became the third Red Sox player to homer in his All-Star game debut, joining David Ortiz back in 2004 and J.D. Drew in 2008. And it was the first time a Red Sox player hit a home run and gave up a home run in the All-Star game since 1956. Jarren Duran and Tanner Houck did it in this one, and in 1956, Ted Williams homered and Tom Brewer gave up the homer. So 5-3 American League on top. That's the way it stays all the way until the top of the ninth inning. And you know what that means? You got to bring in the best closer in baseball, and that is Emmanuel Clase. He's been absolutely unhittable this year. His ERA is under 1. He's just ridiculous. So Clase comes in, and if you notice his glove here, look at that glove. He's got a hat on. It's a goat with a hat on his webbing. That thing is unbelievable. First batter, Pete Alonso, 93-mile-an-hour slider. See you later. Couple 101-mile-an-hour cutters to start this at-bat for Alonso. So that slider, you got no chance. So 1 out after the Alonso strikeout. Next batter, Ellie De La Cruz. He had a base hit in his first All-Star game at-bat, but not this time against Clase. Bounces out to first. Jackson Merrill taps one softly up the first baseline. He's going to hustle that one out for an infield single. Maybe a little bit of a mental mistake there from Clase. That one was going to probably roll foul. But Jackson Merrill gets the tying run to the plate and keeps this game alive for the NL. Brian Reynolds, the Pirates outfielder, comes up next and is put away from a 100-mile-an-hour cutter from Clase. Foul tipped into the glove of Salvador Perez. Clase gets him. Clase becomes the fourth pitcher with multiple All-Star game saves since saves became official in 1967. He's behind Mariano, who has 4. Dennis Eckersley has 3. And he's tied with Bruce Sutter, who also has 2. So Emmanuel Clase, just the fourth pitcher since 1969 when the save was introduced to have multiple saves in the All-Star game. And the AL has now won 10 of the last 11 All-Star games. 9 of them in a row. They lost last year, and then they get right back on their winning ways. There was 2 400-foot home runs in the game. Shohei hit one exactly 400 feet. Duran's went 413. And in this game, there was 23 pitches thrown over 100 miles an hour, the most in an All-Star game in the StatCast era, which is since 2015. And that big home run in the bottom of the fifth inning gave Jarren Duran the All-Star Game MVP, the 5th Red Sox player to win the All-Star Game MVP. Jarren Duran did it this year in his first All-Star Game. J.D. Drew did it in 2008. His first All-Star Game. Pedro Martinez did it in 1999 after striking out 6 batters. Roger Clemens did it in 86 in his first All-Star Game, and Carl Yastrzemski did it in 1970. So Red Sox royalty there, All-Star Game MVPs, and 3 of those guys did it in their first game. And with the home run in the 5th inning, Mason Miller, the final ever Oakland A to make the All-Star game, picked up the win. He had a dominant inning against the top of the National League lineup, struck out Shohei and Trey Turner, and he gets the win. So a great game for the All-Star game that was, and it was really fun to watch. It was the 3rd time a Red Sox player hit a game-winning home run in the All-Star game. Last time was 1943, Bobby Doerr, and Ted Williams in 1941. He hit a walk-off home run in the 1941 All-Star game. And the National League All-Stars, Shohei, he had a homer, 3 RBIs, and a walk. Everybody else, 0 RBIs, 0 walks. Ohtani is the only player in the history of the All-Star game to have all of his team's RBIs and walks. Pretty crazy, but that's just what Shohei does. He just basically carries the team on his back. So now, moving into the MLB Standings update as we are at the All-Star break. We'll see where my division predictions are standing right now. And right now, the National League is absolutely wide open. 12 teams within 3.5 games of a playoff spot, the most at the All-Star break of all time. So this National League wildcard race is really going to be insane. I'm going to be intrigued to see who can finish it. So we'll go to the AL East now to start off our weekly recap. The Baltimore Orioles, sitting at 58-38, lead the AL East by 1 game. Talk about that a little bit as they beat the Yankees on Sunday in a wild 9th inning. Yankees were down 3-2. 3-run home run from Ben Rice put them on top, but 2 costly errors from the Yankees in the bottom of the 9th brought the Orioles the win and the division lead. Gunnar Henderson has 20 or more home runs at 22 or younger, 20 or more home runs as a leadoff hitter, and 20 or more home runs as a shortstop. He's the first player to accomplish all of this in MLB history, and he did it all in 63 games. Like, we're at 97. He did that in 63 games, and he's the first player ever to do it at all. And they showed this stat yesterday during the All-Star game, and this was extremely fascinating to me. So this is the comparison of the start of the careers of Gunnar Henderson and Cal Ripken Jr., 2 of the most famous, best shortstops in Orioles history. First full season for Cal, he won Rookie of the Year. The second full season, he was an All-Star at age 23. And Gunnar Henderson, first full season, he won Rookie of the Year. Second full season, All-Star at age 22. So a year younger, but similar starts to their career, first 2 seasons. But in that second year for Cal, he won the MVP and the Orioles won the World Series. So Gunnar Henderson is an MVP candidate, probably just behind Judge right now. This is a chance that could happen. The Orioles are very good. So there's a chance that these could mimic each other exactly. But we'll see if the Orioles can finish out the season strong and Gunnar Henderson could maybe win an MVP and the World Series. They're ahead of the Yankees by 1 game, like I just mentioned. Aaron Judge has the most home runs ever hit by a New York Yankee before the All-Star break with 34. He broke his own record that he tied Roger Maris back in 2022. Hit 33 home runs before the break that year. He broke his own record along with Roger Maris's. And Aaron Judge, these are his offensive numbers and the ranks that he has in Yankees history. 34 home runs is the most ever. 59 extra base hits is the most ever. 233 total bases is the most ever, and 85 RBIs is tied for the second most ever. So historic first half of the season for Judge. He's got 191 home runs in 930 games. That's 12 more than anyone else in their first 1,000 games, and he's got 70 more games to go. And the Red Sox, they've been very good this year. The Red Sox, really, no one thought that they were going to be that good this year, but they've been hanging around all season long. All 9 starters recorded a hit and scored a run in the second inning of the game. Nick Pivetta became the second player since 1900 to strike out at least 8 batters in 2 games in the same season. The Rays have been hovering at 500 all season long. Doesn't look like they're going to be very good this year. They might have to start selling. And the Blue Jays, it's going to be very interesting to see what they do with their big name talent stars like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette. Are they going to trade? I think they're going to have to become sellers. We'll see what they do. The Phillies have 8 All-Star selections played in the game last night. Franchise record, and that tied the MLB record since 1961 or the expansion era. 5 All-Star pitchers, that's an MLB record, and 5 first-time All-Stars. That ties an MLB record. Alec Boehm, Bryce Harper, Jeff Hoffman, Christopher Sanchez, Matt Strahm, Ranger Suarez, and Trey Turner. Oh, and Zach Wheeler, excuse me. Kyle Schwarber has 19 leadoff homers since the start of last season. That's the most in baseball. And Bryce Harper hit a homer against my Oakland A's this past weekend to homer against all 30 teams now. The Braves sitting at 53-42. Most RBIs for the All-Star break in Braves history. Here comes the list. Marcell Ozuna sitting at the top, 77. Just broke Andrew Jones' franchise record of 75. And they're both ahead of Eddie Matthews, who had 74. The New York Mets, been unbelievable. I made a whole Grimace video about them. Go check that one out on the page. They've been the best team in the league since Grimace has been on the team, pretty much, or throughout the first pitch. The stats in the month after Grimace throughout the first pitch. The Mets winning percentage, 704, first. Runs per game, 6.1, first. Homers, 45, first. Slugging percentage, 491, first. On base percentage, 340, first. So they're first in all those categories for the last month since Grimace threw out the first pitch, and it's just been absurd to watch. Jose Iglesias is the man. He had his first career multi-home run game, at 34 years old in his 1,124th career game. The Mets hit 5 homers in a game at Citi Field on Friday for the first time since 2021. I was at that game. OMG was blasting through the speakers. It was unbelievable. And in that game on Friday, There was 9 total home runs, 5 hit by the Mets, 4 hit by the Rockies, and it was the most combined home runs in a game this whole season. Pretty lucky to be at that one. It was a great game. The Nationals sitting at 44 and 53, but Juan Yepez has hit safely in 9 straight games. That's a new Nationals record for a player to start his time with the club from 2005 to now. So that doesn't count the Expos times. That counts the Nationals. And the Marlins still 30 games under 500, 33 and 63. So to the AL Central, the Cleveland Guardians still 10 games over, or 20 games over 500, 58 and 37. Jose Ramirez, first player to be intentionally walked 3 times in a game since David Ortiz back in 2007. And I mentioned it in the All-Star Game thing. Emmanuel Clase, the 4th pitcher with multiple All-Star Game saves since the stat became official in 69. Mariano, Dennis Eckersley, Bruce Sutter, Emmanuel Clase. Lost my spot here. So the Minnesota Twins, they're still 12 games on top, 54 and 42. Matt Wallner just came back up to the big league club. He has 2 of the hardest hit balls of the season for the Twins in his first week. 116 mile-an-hour single in his first game, and then 116.7 homer in his second game. And Carlos Santana has also homered against all 30 active teams. The Royals have been a lot better this year, 52 and 45. Bobby Witt Jr. has 124 hits. That leads all of baseball, and that's the most by a Royal before the All-Star break since George Brett had 123 back in 1979. Tigers starting to play a little bit better. They just took a series from the Dodgers at home. Came back to win both of those games in the 9th inning. They were losing by 5 runs in the 9th inning on Saturday. They came back to win that game 11-9. The White Sox 27 and 71. That's crazy. Michael Kopech, though, just had an immaculate inning save. An immaculate inning save. It was the first White Sox pitcher to have an immaculate inning since Sloppy Thurston in 1923. Sloppy Thurston. Okay. And Garrett Crochet became the 3rd White Sox pitcher ever to have 150 or more strikeouts before the All-Star break. Going to the NL Central now, the Milwaukee Brewers struggled a little bit going into the break, had a little bit of a downward spiral. The division race has tightened up a little bit, and this one could get a little interesting. I think it's only a 3.5 game lead for the Brewers over the Cardinals. The Cardinals have been one of the best teams in baseball for the last month and a half. So the Cardinals could have a chance to tie this one up. And the Pirates, I mean, they're 500. They're going to be around. This National League's wide open. Mason Wynn, the 3rd MLB player to score 3 first-inning runs on the same day since inning-by-inning data was tracked in 1974. And the Cardinals had a 9-run first inning. It was their first since an 11-run first inning back in 2005. And I mentioned the Pirates. They are 48 and 48. First time going into the All-Star break, 500 or better since 2016, 8 years ago. And Paul Skeens, he started the All-Star game for the National League. 5th rookie ever to start the All-Star game, joining David Stenhouse, Mark Fidrus, Fernando Valenzuela, Hideo Nomo, and now Paul Skeens. He is one of 2 pitchers to have multiple starts of 6+ innings pitched, 0 hits, and 11 strikeouts in the same season. He joins Nolan Ryan. I mean, that's an elite group right there. He's also one of 4 pitchers to have multiple games with 0 hits allowed and 10 Ks in a single season. Obviously, Nolan. Max Scherzer did that, and Justin Verlander. So Paul Skeens has done that. He did it in his first 11 career starts. Nolan Ryan did it in his 7th season. Scherzer did it in his 8th season, and Verlander did it in his 17th season. So Verlander, that might be even more impressive, the 17th season one. But 11 career starts for Skeens already there? You got to be kidding me. And Paul Skeens has a 1.9 ERA, 1.90, best in the National League since his debut on May 11th. 89 strikeouts. Those are the most in baseball since May 11th. Most Ks in his first 11 starts since Kerry Wood in 1998. 13 strikeouts on 100-mile-an-hour pitches. He's got 0 losses. He's the only qualified pitcher without a loss since May 11th. He's the first rookie since 2008 with multiple 6 innings pitched no-hitters. And he's the first rookie with multiple games with 6 hitless innings and 10 strikeouts since the mound moved back to its current distance in 1893. Unbelievable. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. And the lowest ERAs entering the All-Star break by a rookie starting pitcher in MLB history, Mark Fidrus had the lowest in 1976, 1.78. Francisco Liriano in 06, 1.83. And then Paul Skeens, 1.90 this year. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Another starting pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates who's been great, Mitch Keller. First Pirate to win 10 games before the All-Star break since Garrett Cole, who had 13 wins back in 2015. And Brian Reynolds, 115 career home runs, the most by a switch hitter in Pirates history. The Cincinnati Reds, this was my division pick. They're 3 games under 500, so still have a chance to maybe make the playoffs. I don't know about the division now, but it's going to have to happen soon. Here are the players in the history of baseball to have 45 steals and 15 home runs before the All-Star break. Rickey Henderson did it in 1986 for the Yankees, and Elly De La Cruz this season. And the most stolen base in Reds history before the All-Star break since 1933. 1933 was the first year of the All-Star break, our first year of the All-Star game. Elly De La Cruz, 45. Billy Hamilton, 44 in 2015. So he just broke that record. 46 steals he finished off with at the end of the break. And Elly, the second player with 45 steals before the All-Star break since 2000, joining Jose Reyes back in 2007. He's one of 3 players ever to have 40 or more extra base hits and 45 or more steals at the All-Star break, joining Kenny Lofton and, of course, the Man of Steel, Rickey Henderson. And another young phenom sensation who just came out of absolutely nowhere over this past week, Rhys Hines. Who in the hell is Rhys Hines and where did he come from? He just got 2 hits in his MLB debut last Monday night. His first hit was a double, and his second hit, a 449-foot second deck bomb. Second longest home run by a player in his MLB debut since StatCast was introduced in 2015. So Hines, that was his first career game. Started off pretty good. Did not stop right there, not even close. 5 extra base hits in his first 2 games, most ever since 1901, and that wasn't even the end of it. He's the first player to hit 455-plus foot home runs, 2 of them for his first 2 career home runs in the StatCast era. He also hit 5 home runs in his first 6 career games. That's the second most in MLB history since 1901, behind Trevor Story, who hit 7 in 2016 for the Rockies. I remember that. That was crazy. Rhys Hines hit 9 extra base hits in those first 6 games. MLB record. So he just comes in, wins Player of the Week, tears the cover off the baseball, can't stop hitting home runs and extra base hits, breaks the record for most extra base hits in a 6-game period, and the second most homers in that same 6-game span. Ridiculous. The Chicago Cubs, 47-51. Not very good. Showtime Managa was their lone all-star, and he's really been keeping them afloat because he's been great. He's one of 3 Cubs pitchers since 1933 to throw 97 innings and allow fewer than 16 walks before the All-Star break. But just before the break, they did get a little bit hot against a struggling Orioles team. They swept the Orioles at Camden Yards, the first team to do that in the regular season since 2021. And their 32-inning scoreless streak on the road tied with a streak in 1908 for the longest in franchise history. So going on to the West Division, starting with the American League, the Seattle Mariners, Cal Raleigh became the first catcher since 2001 and the 4th catcher ever to record 15 or more homers and 5 or more steals before the break. The Astros are gaining on the Mariners. The Mariners' offense has still not been great. The pitching staff of the Mariners has been so good, but the offense has been one of the worst in baseball. Astros have started to wake up, 50-46. They've been surging. They're gaining on Seattle. I still think they're going to win this division. The Rangers still haven't really figured it out yet. They're going to have to get going now or it's not going to happen. They're 46-50, still 4 games under 500. And like I said, if it doesn't happen soon, it's not going to happen. And they just became, I think it was the 3rd team ever. No, it's the first time since 1939. First team since 1939 to host the All-Star game after winning the World Series the year before. And it was the first time since the Yankees did it in 1939. The Angels, 41-55. I think he's still considered a rookie. Ben Joyce became the 4th pitcher since 2008 to hit 104.5 miles an hour. The hardest pitch this season, Ben Joyce joins Aroldis Chapman, Jordan Hicks, Johan Duran, and now Ben Joyce on the list. And my A's. Had to wear this A's jersey for a few reasons. Mason Miller, the last Oakland A's jersey. Hold on. I unplugged my mic. I wonder if that works. I just had technical difficulties there. I don't know if you saw that. Just unplug the mic fully. But let me not screw this up again. Mason Miller becomes the last Oakland A All-Star in the history of the Oakland Athletics. And he struck out 2 of the 3, including Shohei Ohtani, and got the win. How about that? But another reason I had to wear this shirt, the A's, on the final day of the regular season, or final day of the first half, they beat the Phillies 18-3 to take the series, to take 2 of 3 from the best team in baseball. So are the A's the best team in baseball? I guess so. The A's hit 8 homers in the game. There wasn't 8 homers in the game total. The A's hit 8 home runs in the game. Tied for the most in A's history, and it was the last done in 1996. It was the most home runs in a game by any team since 2000, since I've been alive. That's insane, and the A's are considered one of the worst teams. Lawrence Butler hit 3. Brent Rooker and Seth Brown both hit 2. It was the first time in A's history that 3 players had 2 or more home runs in the same game. Brent Rooker's first home run went 450 feet over the batter's eye to dead center. His second one went 452. First A's player with multiple 450-foot homers in the same game over the last 15 seasons. And those 8 homers travel a total of 3,340 feet. What? Insane. And here are the most amount of runs scored by one team in a game this year. The highest amount of runs, 20, by the A's on May 4th versus the Marlins. Second most amount of runs scored, 19, the A's versus the Orioles on July 6th. And the third most, 18 runs by the A's against the Phillies on Sunday. The top 3 run-producing games were by the A's. 2 of them were at the Coliseum, and 2 of them are against playoff teams that are leading their division right now. And the Phillies are the best team in baseball. Baseball makes no sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. That's unbelievable. Mason Miller, final Oakland A's starter in Athletics history, came in to face the top in the NL order after the AL took the lead, after the game was tied 3-3. Ketel Marte, flat out first pitch, struck out Shohei with a wipeout slider, dominated that at bat, threw the hardest pitch in All-Star game history at 103.6 miles an hour, and officially got the win on the mound in the 2024 All-Star game after the Durant homer in the bottom of the 5th. So Mason Miller, way to represent the boys, get the win. Last Oakland A ever to be an All-Star. Let's go. So now to the West, National League West. Dodgers, Shohei Ohtani joins Babe Ruth as the only players with 200 home runs and 200 strikeouts. First Dodger with a homer in the All-Star game since 96, Mike Piazza. Second Japanese player with a homer in the All-Star game joining Ichiro. And now we'll go to the Diamondbacks. 49-48, finally get over 500 for the first time since April. Been playing better. Offense is starting to click, and Corbin Carroll, last year's NL Rookie of the Year, starting to get things going. The Padres fell off a little bit before the break. Profar was a little bit down. So was Machado. They're still hanging around in this NL wildcard race. They need to get going. So do the Giants. Camilo Doval hasn't been good. They need to get things going soon, or they're going to be fighting for a playoff spot. The Rockies, German Marquez made his first start of the season on Sunday. I was at that game. He broke the Rockies' all-time strikeout record with his second strikeout of the game. And in that game, Michael Toglia hit 3 home runs. Third set of so in that series, right, against the Mets at Citi Field, the Rockies hit 12 bombs in 3 games. 12 home runs in a 3-game series. That broke the record, the franchise record for home runs in a 3-game series ever at Coors Field anywhere. At first, they hit 11, and it broke the record for road series. But then they hit a 12th, and it was the most home runs the Rockies have ever hit in a 3-game series. And that's insane because it wasn't in Colorado, and it was against the Mets at Citi Field, which is a big ballpark. So you never know what's going to happen when you go see a game. And that's going to do it for the All-Star festivities first half recap. Hope you enjoyed that one. A little bit of a longer episode. 2 games of the week, Plays of the week, home run derby, All-Star game, all that good stuff. So hopefully you enjoyed this one. Second half coming up. Probably going to miss a week because there's only going to be a couple games this one. And I'm getting my wisdom teeth taken out. Yeah. So probably going to miss next week. We'll be back soon here on the Bobby Valentine Sports Show. Make sure to follow on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all that good stuff. And any questions about the Bobby Valentine Sports Academy, hit up the bvacademy.com. So that's going to do it for us this time. Have a good one. Peace out.